nice to speak with you today, Mona, and I'm looking forward to hearing your views on the topic of sustainable supply chain. Can you
Yes.
provide a brief background of yourself?
Okay. Actually, I have 20 years of experience in top 500 famous companies like Intel, Siemens, Mortorola, and UTC. So I also have some theoretical knowledge or understanding of supply chain from my MBA setting. Here now I have some, personal or private understanding quite different from, the common understanding. So I'm very glad to accept your interview today. Okay.
Thank you. My first question is, what is sustainability in the supply chain?
Mm-hmm. The sustainable in supply chain means that the supply chain has a quite stable and a quite good availability and least unexpected costs and the risk of supply chain. This is my understanding. So I think it is very important for the healthy and the development of supply chain. And, supply chain continuous operation is very important for the supply chain whole performance and the profit for every member in supply chain. So I will emphasize the sustainable is the critical factor of supply chain.
Can you talk about how it's done effectively?
Okay. For the sustainable supply chain, in my understanding, there are several factors. The most important factor is R&D, research and the design or development. In my understanding, the normal R&D is excluded from the supply chain operation, but I would say the R&D is a critical factor for supply chain. First of all, the R&D will determine the profit concerning the demand, function, and how it is user friendly and the customer goals. Like the Apple phone, the design will totally change the marketing and the orientation of the customer's preference of the product. And secondly, the R&D will determine the profit concerning the cost, whether how the product is availability and of the resources and the production, and also the raw materials, SKU, inventory, capacity allocation, transportation, all were influenced by the R&D. And also for some industry, the upgraded product depend on the R&D also influence for the industry sustainable and the continuous incoming of their profit. So I would say R&D is very important. The sustainable depend on R&D and how high value and what function demanding, and like our previous practice. It is not very seriously considered and include in the supply chain consideration and the performance control. So that's why a lot of supply chain just cannot do a complete control of itself, because the R&D really did a lot of are doing great job to influence the supply chain. So the second factor I would emphasize is the transparency and the healthy of supply chain. A healthy supply chain should be the least have the least avoidable cost and expensive. A lot of factors are impact the health of supply chain, and transparency actually leads to the healthy operation environment. A stable profit allocation decrease the cost of supply member change, leading to a long-term and reliable and stable cooperation. Secondly, the transparent information benefits the upstream and the downstream in supply chain in controlled operation to acquire material allocation capacity and the logistics allocation, which will decrease the cost on supply chain operation while decreases in efficiency and agility. Thirdly, the transparency leads to the integrated and decrease the management costs, such as people integrity. Immoral behavior seriously damages the behavior of the healthy of supply chain. Increase the transparency can decrease the risk of corruption and immoral issues. So the transparency is more and more important in the healthy of the supply chain. And with the transparency level is more and more developed, supply cooperation performance can be measured very effectively and quantitatively. By my understanding that the transparency information can also improve the supply chain operation in efficiency and in the orchestration cooperation of the upstream and the downstream members. So the transparency is also very important. From my point of view of supply chain, actually, I would like to call the supply chain as a supply cycle rather than the supply chain, because each end of one rolling cycle of supply operation, from the demand planning, procurement, production, delivery, logistics, transportation, will be the beginning of the next rolling cycle. And this means just there our expectation of the supply chain to keep on rolling all the way to future for a very long life and a healthy supply operation. So that's my understanding.
And can you talk about where you've seen some success?
Success?
Success. A success example or
Okay. Success, right? If the success concerning the success, I mean the supply chain can be have a very good cost control and have a very smooth operation and have a very smooth orchestration, efficiency, cost control, inventory control, and the least swap of the raw material from the very beginning in design and the obsolete and the EOL end. So this supply chain also have a very big or very good marketing and can get a lot of customers in the marketing and keep upgrade its products like have the different grades like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this supply chain can have a very strong R&D should be included. And as I mentioned, that the transparency will also guide the whole supply chain to operate in a very healthy and efficiency and cost-effective such kind of controlling and the outcome of high profits for the business.
And thank you, Mona, for sharing today.
Okay.